Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. We'd like to thank you for tuning in today, and we welcome you back for another edition brought to you by Muhammad's Temple United. Muhammad's Temple United is a collective body of believers and members of the Nation of Islam throughout the country who have joined together in a strong brotherhood and strong sisterhood to unite all of the temples across the country. As we're taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Islam is a unifying religion, and we are taking that into practice by coming together and doing something for ourselves to create heaven while we live right here on earth. We invite you all to join us in this beautiful unity of brotherhood and sisterhood. Whether you are a member of the Nation of Islam or you are new to Islam, we welcome you to come and join us as we come together and build something for ourselves. We ask that you join us every Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time to hear the teachings of Allah as taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad by one of our ministers throughout the country who will be rotating each week. So please try to be on time so you will not miss out on any of these powerful lectures. We also encourage you to tell a friend and family member to join us as well. It is important that all of our people get a chance to hear the truth so that they may make their decision. For those of you who would like to support Muhammad's Temple United and the work that we are doing to spread this truth throughout the country, please visit our Cash App at $MT United. And for more information, you may reach us at 602-598-9009. Again, we thank you and we welcome you to Muhammad's Virtual Sunday Lectures. So without further ado, we'd like to present to you today's Muhammad's Sunday Virtual Lecture.
Assalamu alaikum. We'd like to begin our meeting in prayer. And here at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, we begin and end all of our meetings in a prayer. For those of you who are tuning in for your very first time or who have never attended a Muhammad's Temple of Islam meeting, we ask that you stand and join us. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with our prayer, we're taught to stand at erect with our hands out as if we're receiving a gift, our feet at 45-degree angle, our heads slightly bowed, and our eyes closed to this wicked world. For those of you who know the prayer, follow along with me. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds, the Beneficent, the most merciful Master and Savior of this day of judgment in which we now live. To Thee alone do we serve, and to Thee alone do we beseech for help. O Allah, guide us along the right path, the path of those upon whom Thou hast bestowed Thy favors, and not on the path of those upon whom Thy wrath is brought down, nor of those who have gone astray after they have heard Thy teachings. Ameen. In the name of Allah, who appeared to us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, the great Mahdi, the Christ, the Messiah, Master Farad Muhammad, to whom all holy praises are due forever, and in his last and divine, greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, in those two great men's name, I greet you all in our greeting words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to begin with thanking you all for attending with us today, because we know that you could be anywhere else, and we are always grateful to have you with us. And as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, there's no other better place to be than in a place where the truth is being taught. So we thank you for taking your time out of your day to be with us today. And it is important to be here to hear the truth. So with that being said, we thank you and we hope that you come back. And we ask that you tell a friend, bring a family member, tag someone you feel who is in need of the truth. Because again, this is important, brothers and sisters. Here at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, I want to get you familiar before we begin today's lecture with how our temple meetings are set up and ran. Muhammad's Temple of Islam, as you can see, is set up similar to a classroom. It's actually a classroom setting, where reason being because Muhammad's Temple of Islam, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, the temple is a place of learning. It's a place where we teach out of. So one thing you're going to notice whenever you are in attendance at a Muhammad's Temple of Islam, you will never find a band or a choir singing. And you may ask, well, what's wrong with a band and a choir, Brother Daniel? Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that will be a distraction. Imagine yourself going to school and you go into class and you walk and sit in your desk, and there behind the teacher's desk is a band playing. You got, nowadays, hip hop is the more popular form of music. So let's just say you got I don't know the hot artist of today's time, but let's just say you have Snoop Dogg and the Dog Pound behind the teacher's desk, and they doing their thing. That's going to distract you from what you're there for, and it's to learn. We're here to teach and train you, not to entertain you. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that there's nothing wrong with music, and we don't hate music. We are the creators of music. However, we don't use it in our temples because, again, it's a place of learning. And as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, that we don't want any distractions in our meetings, because the whole purpose is for you to learn. And so with that being said, we want your full attention and undivided attention, so that way you won't miss anything. So remember that while you're sitting here viewing these Sunday lectures, just remember the classroom. Remember, you are at class. I advise you to grab a pen and some paper. Take notes. Because here at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, we don't want you to just believe what we're teaching. We want you to take notes, study it. Go out and research it. Find the truth for yourself. Don't just believe. We want you to know. See, there's a difference between one who knows and one who believes. A man that knows, he's sure of a thing. A man that believes, he's really not too sure. He's uncertain. Which one would you rather be today, brothers and sisters? Would you rather be the man that believes or the man that knows? You can't say you have the truth if you really don't know. A man that knows he has the truth can say he has the truth. Is that right or wrong? Okay. Well, here at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, we want you to learn so you can be confident in knowing that you have the truth. Again, I'd like to thank you all for coming out. My name is Brother Daniel Ali Shabazz, and I'm just your brother. I'm not the minister. I'm just here standing in place of the minister today, who, due to unfortunate events, was unable to make today's meeting. So I'm just here in his place. So again, brothers and sisters, thank you for tuning in, and we welcome you to Muhammad's Temple of Islam. I want to get you a little bit more familiar with Muhammad's Temple. You're going to hear terms like Assalamu alaikum. For those who don't know what the words Assalamu alaikum means, Assalamu alaikum is, in translation from English into Arabic, Assalamu alaikum, or translated from Arabic into English, means peace be unto you. Peace be unto you. That's a universal greeting, especially among the righteous. The Muslims will always greet one another in peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum. As all the prophets and men of God before have always used the terms peace be unto you, those are righteous words. Peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum. It's also a prayer. When we greet one another with Assalamu alaikum, we're praying or wishing peace unto you. What better greeting than a greeting of peace? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that there is no greater greeting than the one of peace. And we all can agree to that. Peace be unto you. There's no greater greeting than one of peace, especially in a time where peace is very much needed. And we all can agree that in these times, we need peace. So don't be ashamed, brothers and sisters, to greet your brothers and sisters with the words of Assalamu alaikum. Now that you know what it means, it is your language. It is your original language, brothers and sisters. You know, some say, oh, that's the Arabians' language, the Arabs' language. Well, let me correct those brothers out there who feel that way. The Arabic language is our original language. And if you study history, you'll find that to be true. We're not going to go into that at this time, but I want you to keep that on your mind and do some research. Like I say, everything that you hear in the Temple of Islam, Muhammad's Temple of Islam, we advise you to do your research and find out the truth on your own. Don't just take our word for it. You find out for yourself. Okay, well, here at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, we also like to ask a question. Why are you here? Why are you here today? Is it because you want a change? You looking for a change? Are you looking for a change in your children? Are you looking for a change for your family members? Are you looking for a change for your people? Well, here in Muhammad's Temple of Islam, you are in the right place. This is the place where change happens for us here in America and all over the world. We need change, brothers and sisters. Change is something that we really need. If you look around the world today, you'll agree. Look at the world today. Look at our people today. Look at the condition of our people. We need change. Here at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, you'll find this board right here behind me. This board was given to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and it's called the Actual Facts Board. Why? Actual Facts Board. Because everything you see on this board is an actual fact and can be proven in no limit of time. Meaning, you give us enough time, we can prove everything on this board to be true. Here on our left, you see Christianity, right? And underneath Christianity, you have the American flag. Why is Christianity under, why is the American flag under Christianity? Why, Brother Daniel, do we have Islam over here in the crescent moon and star underneath Islam? And in between the two, we have which one will survive the war of Armageddon? That's a beautiful question right there. Which one will survive the war of Armageddon? How many of you knew that there was a war between Christianity and Islam? What is the war of Armageddon? Why under here, under Christianity and the American flag, do we see slavery, suffering, and death, and the cross? Why under Islam do we see the crescent moon and star, freedom, justice, and equality? Ask yourself these questions. This board was designed for you to ask questions. Why? Because questions will lead you to an answer. You'll never get the answer if you don't never ask the question. Is that right? Okay. Why is this man hanging from a tree? Why do we have this on our actual facts board? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that this picture is a beautiful picture. Now hold on. I know that might make some people upset. And I know it's uncomfortable to even hear that. This is a beautiful picture. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad explains why this is a beautiful picture. It's not because our dear brother, is hanging from this tree and was being lynched. It's because in this picture, it tells us something. It gives us an idea of the people who did this to our brother. We're not going to go much into the actual facts board today, but we always would like to give you some information on it. There's so much knowledge on this board that we could literally teach classes on this board. And I will go back to it sometime today as I get into my lecture. So, brothers and sisters, we are here in a time that is known as the judgment of this world. We see destruction all around us. So we're at the crossroads, and we have to all make a decision on which way we're gonna go. Now, again, I'm gonna point to this board because there's two paths on this board. One path leading that way, and another path leading this way. And we have to decide on which way we're gonna go. This is the day of decision, brothers and sisters. We don't have much time to decide either. As you can see, you see destruction all around us. Just as Allah had promised, he would destroy the wicked. And we see destruction everywhere. There is no safe place. Matter of fact, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says there's only two safe places in this war of Armageddon. Two safe places. One is with Allah, and two is his messenger. There's no other safe place, brothers and sisters. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, was a man raised up by Almighty God Allah himself, and was given a message to deliver to you and I, the lost found nation here in the wilderness of North America. Those lost members of their original tribe who don't know who they are, don't know their names, don't know their language, don't know the land they come from, don't know their God, don't know their religion. No one had came to us before to teach us that either. Our people have been here in America for over 400 plus years. We spent 390 plus years in chattel slavery. No one came from overseas, from Africa. No one came from Asia to teach us, though there were people from Asia and Africa right here in the midst watching us go through the hell and torment that we went through. And no one reached out to us and tried to teach us who we were until one came and made himself known in 1930. And I speak none other than Master Farad Muhammad, who we know to be the supreme being, Allah in person. It wasn't until Master Farad Muhammad came and made himself known and started teaching us back into the knowledge of who we were, God and the devil, to prepare us. And he prepared one to prepare the way for us so we can qualify ourselves to return into a land of our own. We had to be qualified, brothers and sisters. We had to be taught back into the knowledge of self. If not, we would have carried everything that we've been taught here right into a new land. Allah had promised to make all things new. And this is the purpose of why we having a war of Armageddon right now as we speak. We're looking at a change of worlds. Allah came here to the shores of North America to raise up one from among us who would teach us back into the knowledge of God, self, and the devil, to prepare us for our departure, and also to give us a knowledge that would save us from the destruction that is coming. And in that, it was also to give us a glimpse of what the hereafter, meaning here after the destruction of this world, the new world, would look like. Just a glimpse, a small glimpse of what the new world would look like. And we seen that through the workings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. All praise due to Allah. He showed us what heaven would look like when he got brothers in unity. For the first time in America, the black man stood up. I want to take y'all back in your minds. Think back to 1930, 1935, 1940s. Think back of those times. Now think of where black people were during that time. What were black people doing during that time? For a little man from Georgia, excuse me, brothers and sisters, please forgive my setup. Yeah, I hope that don't fall. Okay. For a little man born in Georgia with a third grade education. That's right, brothers and sisters. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad only made it to the third grade. He didn't get past the third grade. And a lot of our brothers and sisters, especially in the South, didn't get far in school. My grandfather told me, he married my grandmother when she was 13. They were both young, just getting into their teenage years. He dropped out of school, married my grandmother, and began working. During them times, our people weren't very educated. Many of our people. There were quite a few that did make it pretty far in education, but many of our people didn't. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad made it to the third grade, right? And it wasn't until he met Master Farad Muhammad, whom he recognized instantly who he was. The only one that seen this man for who he was. And Allah chosen him. A man with third grade education. Why didn't he go to a college and get a professor to teach Islam to and to waken us up? Some of you may think that would have been a brilliant idea, right? Well, that's too easy. We're talking about the supreme being who wanted to show the world his power. This is the wisdom of Almighty God Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom all praises due forever. He came and taught a man with a third grade education. That man, with that wisdom that he placed inside that man, he only taught him for 3.5 years. 3.5 years. That's not a long time for education. Think about it, brothers and sisters. We spent more time in school than 3.5 years. Even middle school is 4 years, at least 4 years. And think about how much you learn in that 4 years. Think about how much you learned in 12 years of school. Then you have some that went to college. That's another 4+ years of school. And think about how much they learned in that period of time. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad lived with Master Farad Muhammad for 3.5 years. And in that 3.5 years, he taught him day and night. Taught him so much and so well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was able to spank the pants off of scholars with his wisdom, with God's wisdom, excuse me. He was able to make scholars look so little, and it was mind-blowing to the world. He shocked the world with the teachings that he had. It was something the world never heard before. And as you may have heard last week's lecture by our brother Minister Wali Muhammad, he had mentioned that no one had known the reality of God before until Master Farad Muhammad revealed it to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, meaning that it had been a secret. They used to keep that a secret, and this is why for the longest no one knew who God was. They started making up things in their own minds what God was because they did not know. Now we have the truth, and it has been proven to us who God is, what God is. All praise is due to Allah, Master Farad Muhammad. We can never give him enough thanks and praise for coming and raising one in our midst to teach us this. Because for the longest time, we believed in a God that did not exist. Our heads were somewhere in the clouds. We couldn't even close our eyes and picture God. Well, some of us did. We picture the God that we seen on a picture. Many of us thought Jesus, that white Jesus we see all across the world, we thought that was who God was. Some of us would close our eyes and picture that picture in our head as God. Brothers and sisters, we were so far off. And this is why we say all praise is due to Allah. For the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he took on a very hard job to teach us this knowledge, because we were so stuck in spookism. We didn't want to believe that man is God. And for those of you tuning in for your very first time and you hearing that man is God, I ask that you keep an open mind and be patient and sit and don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Because we want to show you and we can prove to you that man is God. Not all at once. I can't prove to you that man is God, and no one else can. But through these teachings that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that came directly from God, it can be proven in no limited time. Meaning don't limit the time that you give us to teach it. Prove it to you. I won't be able to use the teachings and prove that today because it takes time. This is why we had classes set up for you to learn and develop. Just like you don't go to elementary school and learn trigonometry in one day. It takes time, is that right? Well, it takes time for us to learn and develop into our understanding. So if you stick around long enough and you keep attending and you keep asking questions and you keep doing your research and finding and studying, you'll find out this truth yourself. I know you're saying, Brother Daniel, there's no way man is God. God put the sun out there. Man couldn't have did that. God put the stars out there. Man couldn't have did that. God put the planets in rotation. Man couldn't have did that. Well, I say to you, brothers and sisters, you got a lot to learn. Man can and did do all of that. If man did not put that sun out there, who did? Show me the one that put that sun out there. You think that it's a magical spirit out there in the sky putting all this stuff together? I ask you this. Walk outside your front door and look around. And ask yourself, who put that building, that house across the street right there? Then turn around and look at your own house. Say, who put that house right there? Was it some mysterious God out in the sky? You say, oh, Brother Daniel, man know how to make a house. That's right. And you say, well, we talking about the sun, Brother Daniel. Okay, brother. So you mean to tell me, go in your house, feel on the wall, you're going to find a switch. Hit the switch. And the light come on. Hit the light switch. Light going to come on, right? Did a mysterious, spooky God put that light into your room, into your house? You say, oh, Brother Daniel, man know how to put light use electrical cords and put a light together and a light bulb and all of this. Okay. Well, keep thinking. Keep thinking. Now we're thinking. Keep thinking. Think with me. Okay. I ask you this. You got a smartphone, right? How is it that I'm able to talk to you through a phone, through a device? You can hear my voice on the other end. I can hear your voice on the other end. Now, if we was to go back maybe 1,000 years and nobody has ever seen, let's go to the caves of Europe. If we would have went to the caves of Europe and showed a caveman a cell phone, and we talked to another person in the cave on the other side of the mountain, that caveman would have thought God made that cell phone. Is that right? That would have sounded like something God would have did. That mysterious God that you think put the sun out there. That's what that cell phone would have sounded like to a caveman. Think about Bluetooth. Bluetooth is wireless device. I'm sitting here looking at you and you looking at me through a device right now. Ain't that something God could have did? Now, ask yourself this. Now, I'll tell you this. You say, oh, well, Brother Daniel, man can do that. Well, you do it. Make me a Bluetooth right now. You don't know how, do you? You know how it works. You have the technology, but you don't know how the technology is made. Well, that's the same thing with the sun. That sun was put out there by a man. If we knew how the man put it out there, we could reproduce a sun ourselves. It's the same thing. It's just it was a different technology for a different time that God, the first God, put out there in motion. And yes, brothers and sisters, God has always been man. Always. You can't find another God or another creator other than man that has created anything. You can't. So we won't waste no time looking for no spook God. As the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that we've already searched the universe. That's right, brothers and sisters. Our people have already been in the universe. And many of you know this. Many of you know history. You looked on the walls of some of these ancient artifacts and ancient buildings, and you've seen carvings and drawings of men in space. It's not a secret that we know our people have been to space before. It's nothing new to the original man. And there's a lot that we can discuss on that, but we're not going to talk about that at this time. Our subject today is the day of decision. The day of decision. Allah came to make all things new. He came and taught the Honorable Elijah Muhammad a teaching that will resurrect us, a dead people. We were considered dead. That's right. Think of it like this, brothers and sisters. A man who has amnesia. A medical term for a man, amnesia is a medical term for a man who is considered clinically dead. Look it up. Clinically dead, meaning he's not physically dead. No, he's dead because he don't know who he is, where he come from. He can't tell you. Sometimes he don't even know who his parents are. His loved ones could be standing right there, and he don't know who they are because he's clinically dead. He has amnesia. This is what happened to our people. The black man and woman here in the hills of North America have been put in a condition of amnesia, in a state of amnesia, because we didn't know. After they set us free, they say, okay, niggas, you can go. Y'all free. Free now. We walked away from the plantation. What did we do? We didn't know where to go. We wanted to go back home. We didn't know where home was. We thought we was at home. We didn't know. We didn't know our language. We didn't know anything. We was clinically dead. We didn't know that we were once a great civilization. When you were born in a slavery as a slave, you were born that way. So you didn't know any other way. You thought that that's what you were, a slave. So we were a clinically dead people, like a man with amnesia. We didn't know ourselves. We didn't know our God. We didn't know our religion. We didn't know our home. We didn't know our traditions. We didn't know our culture. All we knew was what we were taught. And we were only taught to be workers. So here we are. Allah came to make us new, stand us up, And for the first time, the black man knew who he was, knew his God, knew his religion, started learning his language, started cleaning himself up, returning back to his nature, which is righteousness. Started seeing his brother as a brother instead of a nigger, a coon, always degrading ourselves. Now we looking at each other as brothers and sisters. The first time our sisters are looked at as sisters. Isn't that a beautiful thing? There are many people who criticize the Nation of Islam, but they don't see the beauty in what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had taught us. He was making us a new people. As I said before, and as the scriptures say, I'm just a bearer witness of what the scriptures are saying when it says God came to make all things new. Scriptures also teaches us he's going to make a new people, a new heaven, a new earth. So why am I saying all of this? Because here we are at the day of decision. We have to decide, brothers and sisters, whether we want to go to this new, to be in the new world that's coming in, or do we want to remain with the old world that is going out, that we see being destroyed all around us, and for good reason. Let's look at the world. Let's put this world under a microscope, y'all. What do we see? Killing, stealing, raping, lying, cheating. The list goes on. This is what we see today. The world is a savage place. Take a look around. I know many people who like to, and I used to do this too. I used to try to focus on all the positive and try to ignore the negative stuff that's going on in the world. This was before I knew any better. And many of you don't know any better either. So we don't fault you at that, because it's a righteous thing to want better and to want peace. That's our nature, brothers and sisters. But we cannot ignore the truth. We cannot ignore all of this stuff that's going on, that's taking place. Because at the end of the day, Allah is going to destroy it. He's destroying it now. And if we don't wake up and make our decisions and act on it, we're going to find ourselves in the destruction. Allah is chastising us today. He don't want to kill us all. So it's like a father spanking his child. He don't want to hurt his child, but he want to get his child right. And this is what it's taken. Because this devil got our minds so gone, it's going to take a lot for us to get right, get on the right path. It's going to take a lot of chastisement. And brothers and sisters, I hate to tell you the bad news, but it's only going to get worse, brothers and sisters. And guess what? Many of us still aren't going to listen. It was already prophesied. Many of us aren't going to listen. All the way up until the day that the fire is coming out the sky, people going to still be doing what they're doing. The day of decision. Why do we need to decide? What do we need to decide on? Well, we have to decide because, again, this old world is going out. We can't have these two worlds. You can't see, some of us, we love this world. Some of us love this world. You don't want to see it go. This is why you hate to even hear us talk about destruction. Y'all call it the doom and gloom. Y'all don't want to hear that doom and gloom teaching. This ain't a fear teaching. This is not to install fear in you. It's to prepare you for what's coming. Brothers and sisters, if you ain't paying attention, it's destruction all around us. Some of y'all love this world so much, you don't even want to hear any talk about the destruction of this world, though you'll complain about it all day. You complain about the killing and the robbing and the stealing and the looting and the shooting and the drugs and everything that is wrong with society. But somehow you got it in your mind that you think that either it's part of life and you're just going to go with it and try to avoid it, or that some magical change is going to happen and people are going to start acting right. No, that's not going to happen. What's going to happen is Allah is going to destroy this world, just as the prophecy and the prophets prophesied on. You know, this world is headed straight for destruction. Which leads us to that question, that good old question: which one will survive the war of Armageddon? Which one will survive the war of Armageddon? We have to make a choice today, brothers and sisters. The choice is between truth and the falsehood, right and wrong, good and evil, God and the devil. We have to decide. You can't have one foot in and one foot out. There is no such thing as halfway. How did Mobb Deep had a song say, ain't no such things as halfway crooks. You either in or you out. You can't be in both. The scriptures teach us you can't serve two masters, because you're going to love one and hate the other. Why? Because if you love this world, you're going to hate God, because he's going to be destroying this world. You see the destruction going on right now. So there's many of you who hate God. You hate Allah. And I know some of you are thinking, well, if God is such a righteous person, why would he be destroying so many innocent lives? Well, you should turn and ask God that. He teaches us that all throughout his scriptures and through his prophets and warners. They all taught us why. He has to destroy this world. This world has to go. In order for him to bring in a new world, this world has to go. He can't bring one thing from this world into the next world, because it'll just taint the new world. It's like taking a clean glass of water, right? It's like purifying some water. You took all the bad stuff out the water. If you put one drop of that dirty water, you done tainted the whole glass of water. It's no longer purified no more. So it defeats the purpose. This is why we are at the day of decision, brothers and sisters. We have to decide, because there's no stopping this train. The train is already set. It's in motion. The new world is coming in. Going back to what I was saying, all praise due to Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us a new way of living, a new way of life, which made us into a new people. Some of you may know many of us that are practicing, or shall I say, striving to be upright. Those of us that are Muslims, you see the change in us. Many of you will say, oh man, he's not that same brother no more. He don't drink no more. He don't hang out no more. He ain't out there in the clubs chasing women. He ain't out in the streets hanging on the corner. He ain't out there selling no drugs. You know, you see a change in the man and in our sisters. You see our women out there. Oh, she ain't out there in the club twerking no more. She ain't out there hopping in every man car that ride by with the booming system in the big rims. And I'm not saying that to degrade any of our people. Just telling the truth, brothers and sisters. You know, we can't pacify the truth. You know, we got to speak the truth. You know, we family. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. It's okay. You can stand up. I mean, you can. Yeah. Thank you. We can't pacify the truth, brothers and sisters. We need the truth. We have to accept the truth. And it's best that you accept the truth when you hear it. As the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say, accept the truth when you hear it. We're running out of time. Many of you think that we have time, but we don't. We don't have much time. And before I close out, I wanna read something from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So let's begin with a book. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. This book right here is The Fall of America. We'll get a close-up on that because I want you to see this book right here. The Fall of America. It's written by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who again, he came with a warning and a message to us to wake us up. This message is to qualify us, to purify us so we can be qualified, to see the hereafter. So in this message, he came with warning, instructions on how to survive this war through these instructions, and also what to look out for, these warnings, these signs. These are all part of the instructions he was given. So I'm going to read a little bit of this. This is on page 243, chapter 59, and the chapter is called The Decision. Now, excuse me, I read a little slow, so y'all bear with me. Brother, I wear glasses. I don't have my glasses with me, so please bear with me. The Decision, Holy Quran, chapter 78, verse 2 of the tremendous announcement. The day of decision. We are now living in the time in which we must decide on what we shall do. It is very important that we arrive at a solution, come to a definite agreement. A definite agreement. You, black man of America, are holding back your decision. You are waiting because of the people who have brought this day of decision to us by their way of rule. Their rule is in the way of injustice. Now the God of justice is before us, and we must decide upon whether or not we will accept a change of rulers or remain under the present rule that is passing from the scene. We must decide rightly in order to relieve the people of the pressure of injustice. Let our decision be for the benefit of our present and our future generations. We have no objection to that person who makes up his mind to remain in what he is already in. So we're not objecting. If you want to stay here, fine. If you love this world and you want to stay in it, fine. We don't object to that. You're free to stay. He says, however, this announcement of great importance is laid before you and me so that we may come to some kind of decision, agreement on what we shall do about the truth of this announcement. See, the announcement is the truth. This is what he tells us. He says the announcement is the truth. So we're faced with a decision whether we want to accept the truth or reject the truth. And he said, it is asking us to decide on whether or not we are going to accept the truth or remain in falsehood. It is called the day of decision. Decide this day which God you shall serve, the God of freedom, justice, and equality, or the same old wicked God whose rule, Allah, God, is here to bring an end to, excuse me. So he's telling us here that we have a choice. This is all free will. You have the freedom to choose whether you want to live in this world or take up accept the truth and take up on the new world. I advise you, brothers and sisters, to think on that. Think about this world. When you lay down your head, when you lay down tonight, close your eyes and think of this world. You don't even have to go on social media, look at the news. You know what's happening in the world. But if you happen to go on social media and you see, look at everything, look at this world, and ask yourself, is this a place you want to live in? Do you love this world? Ask yourself, do you really love this world? And I ask you to ask yourself that because I want you to make a decision. Make your decision. I also want to, I'm not going to read that whole chapter. This is a very great chapter, though. And it's very good. I want you to go back, go home. Those of you who have this book, go home and read this chapter. But I also want to read something else, too, from another book, another great book. It's so much information that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us. You know, we're just scratching the surface here on these Sunday lectures. For you to really get the meat, you got to come into the teachers and get the lessons, and there's so much that we want you to learn. But this is another book called Our Savior Has Arrived. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little glare. But Our Savior Has Arrived. This is also written by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And if we turn to chapter 44, page 114, the chapter is titled The Great Day. This is a short chapter, so I'll read through the whole entire chapter, this entire chapter here. The Great Day. We are living in a great day of God and man. Allah, God, now desires to take for himself to reign over the nations of the earth. There are two gods. One God is the God of evil, and the other is the God of righteousness and justice. The nature of the two gods is so much different from the other that it makes it impossible for one God to yield to the other, because for one God to yield to the other God because of their nature. Unrighteousness and injustice have triumphed over the people for the past 6,000 years. The unjust God was not one to give up his place for the God of justice, meaning the unjust God don't want to give up his place for the God of justice. Just because it's his time is up, he don't want to give up his space, his time. Look at the world today. Look at America today. Look at the government today. They're in a position to where they need to give it up. They don't want to. They are fighting hard to stay in power. Pay attention. Well, we cannot blame him, since by nature he was made a God, a ruler. But his time is out and his rule is up. He is now in the time of the other God, the God of righteousness, freedom, justice, and equality. See, we have two worlds colliding, and this is why the world is at odds, and there's a war going on. See, the war of Armageddon is the war between good and evil, right and wrong, God and the devil, truth and falsehood. We see it happening today. What's going on in social media? They're putting bans on everything. Every time somebody speaks out on the truth, what do? They ban it. Why? Because they are on the side of unrighteousness and injustice. And they're on the side of falsehood. They don't want the truth to be told. So it's a war between the truth and the lie. He says, goes on to say, so this is a great day, the passing away of one world and the coming in of another world. We have suffered under the evil that the devil was made for. Up until this very minute, he wants to do all the evil that he can. That excuse me. Up until this very minute, he wants to do all the evil that he can do, regardless to the Bible and the Holy Quran teaching that Allah, God, will reward him and me for every good act or good work. He says everything is being changed from the old to a new thing. We must qualify for the new. I'm going to repeat that. Everything is being changed from the old to a new thing. We must qualify for the new. We must qualify. So today, we must make a decision, brothers and sisters. Okay. I reached my limited time today. I pray to Allah that I was able to give you some understanding of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us and what Master Farad Muhammad came to give us that will resurrect us and make us a righteous nation, a holy nation once again. So I don't want to hold you any longer, brothers and sisters. I thank you all for coming out. Again, please invite your friends and family to next week's meeting where one of our ministers will be here teaching. And every Sunday, tune in. Tune in every Sunday. Bring your family and friends. Once again, make sure you share this information. We're not here for the likes and all of that. We're not here for that. We just want the information to be shared. That's all. We're not here to make ourselves gods over you. Our ministers are working hard to give you the information you need that can help you develop and grow back into the knowledge of self, God, and the devil, as taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So again, we thank you all for tuning in, and we hope to see you again next week. As the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, we close out all our meetings in prayer. So let's all stand for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praises due to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds, the Beneficent, the most merciful, Master and Savior of this day of judgment in which we now live. To thee alone do we serve, and to thee alone do we beseech for thine aid. O Allah, guide us along the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy favors, and not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor of those who have gone astray after they have heard thy teachings. Say, He, Allah, is one. Allah is He of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He neither begets nor is He begotten, and there is none like unto Him. And I bear witness that there is none to be served or worshipped beside Thee, O Allah. And I bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy last and greatest messenger to we the lost and found members of the nation of Islam here in North America. Ameen. Once again, brothers and sisters, thank you for tuning in. And I pray Allah be with you all. You all be safe. And till we meet again, brothers. Assalamu alaikum.